Imagine a world where music was simple, safe, and predictable. Now, imagine a young man from Mississippi who changed all of that, who took the world by storm with a sound so electrifying, so new, that it set the stage for everything we now know as rock and roll. That man was Elvis Presley, and today we're diving deep into the life and legacy of the king of rock and roll. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi, to a working-class family. From a young age, Elvis was surrounded by gospel music in church, and the soulful sounds of the South became the foundation of his musical journey. He was just a regular kid with a deep love for music, but little did anyone know, this boy would grow up to change the face of popular music forever. Picture this. It's the early 1950s. Music is dominated by smooth crooners and big band sounds. Then, a young Elvis walks into Sun Studio in Memphis, Tennessee, to record a song for his mother's birthday. But that moment turned into something bigger. It was like the first time you hear a song that speaks to your soul. You can't explain it, but you know it's something special. Elvis had an incredibly close bond with his mother, Gladys. It was one of the most profound relationships in his life, and her influence shaped much of who he became. In fact, recording that song at Sun Studio was a way to give her something unique, something special. That love for his mother stayed with him, even at the height of his fame. She was his grounding force when the pressures of stardom began to grow. In 1954, Elvis recorded That's All Right, a blend of blues, country, and something entirely new. The radio stations couldn't get enough, and the listeners were captivated. Elvis's voice was unlike anything they had heard before. It was raw, powerful, and full of emotion. The response was immediate, and his career took off like wildfire. Elvis wasn't just a singer, he was a phenomenon. His style, his voice, his moves, everything about him was magnetic. But what really set him apart was his ability to bridge the gap between different musical genres and cultural backgrounds. He took the blues and gospel sounds of the African-American community, blended them with country music, and created a sound that was entirely his own. It was a sound that resonated with a new generation, a generation looking for something fresh, rebellious, and real. As Elvis's fame grew, so did the controversy. His first television appearances shocked the nation. With his gyrating hips and passionate performances, he was seen as a threat to the conservative norms of the time. But the more parents and critics disapproved, the more teenagers adored him. Elvis became the voice of a generation, a symbol of youthful rebellion and the power of music to break down barriers. Elvis wasn't just about the music. He was about the image, the attitude, and the cultural shift he represented. From his slicked back hair to his iconic jumpsuits, Elvis became a style icon. But more than that, he was a symbol of change. He showed the world that music could be more than just entertainment. It could be a force for social transformation. He was like today's artists, who are not just musicians but movements. It's important to acknowledge the roots of Elvis's sound. Much of his inspiration came from African-American artists like Big Mama Thornton and Arthur Big Boy Crudup. Elvis didn't invent rock and roll, but he was the bridge that brought it to mainstream America. His fame also shone a spotlight on these pioneering artists, helping to bring more recognition to their contributions. In the 1960s, Elvis transitioned from the rebellious rock and roll star to a Hollywood movie icon. He starred in over 30 films, each one showcasing his charisma and charm. But while the movies were popular, they never quite captured the raw energy of his live performances. It wasn't until his 1968 comeback special that Elvis returned to his roots, reminding the world why he was, and always would be, the king of rock and roll. Elvis's journey wasn't without its challenges. As his fame grew, so did the pressures of being an international superstar. By the 1970s, Elvis had become larger than life, literally and figuratively. He was performing sold-out shows in Las Vegas, living in the grandeur of Graceland. But behind the scenes, he struggled with the weight of his own legacy. Elvis's final years were marked by health issues and personal struggles. Despite this, his music continued to resonate with fans around the world. Even as he faced the challenges of fame, he remained dedicated to his craft, delivering powerful performances until the very end. When he passed away on August 16, 1977, the world mourned the loss of a legend. But while Elvis may have left us, his music, his influence, and his legacy continue to live on. Elvis Presley wasn't just a musician, he was a cultural icon, a pioneer, and a trailblazer. He showed the world that music has the power to bring people together, to challenge the status quo, and to create something entirely new. His influence can be seen in every genre of music today, from rock to pop to hip-hop. He paved the way for countless artists who followed in his footsteps, and his legacy as the king of rock and roll is as strong as ever. So the next time you hear an Elvis song, take a moment to appreciate the man behind the music. The king who changed the world with his voice, his style, and his spirit. That's the legacy of Elvis Presley, and it's one that will never fade. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of Elvis Presley and want to explore more stories about the legends who shaped our world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep rocking.